MrBeast is YouTube's biggest creator turned villain.
Do you want a heart to save your life? Or do you want a MrBeast rap Tesla?
I would literally kill myself for a Tesla.
Good boy.
That now has lawsuits for harassment, causing psychological damage, paying for contestants' therapy. Many challenges involve children. And there's even allegations of him harboring multiple predators and protecting them.
These are some very serious allegations. MrBeast's team, they are denying these allegations.
They're gonna reach out to me and say they want me to say that it was consensual.
As well as many other allegations such as rigging competitions, faking videos, illegal lotteries, charity scams, and causing obesity.
If you get a soda, it's over 2,000 calories for one meal. Poor diet and especially excessive sugar consumption is the #1 cause of death and health problems in America, including some of the health problems that MrBeast claims to care so much about.
Some of this stuff is stupid, but other parts paint a dark picture that demands an answer. This is a complicated subject where criticism can be applied to everybody. MrBeast is seriously in the wrong. Dogpack pushed false allegations, which is wrong.
There's allegedly domestic violence charges that were filed against him, and I say allegedly because it turns out there's a lot of people in North Carolina named James Warren who assault their girlfriends, I guess.
This guy Googled a name and ran a story to over 3 million people without confirming that's the same guy. The lack of common sense hurts my head. I need Z-Biotic pre-alcohol to get through this. Fruity. We all have busy lives and we can't waste a day stuck inside sitting on the couch because we had a couple drinks the night before. Pre-alcohol is the first genetically engineered probiotic. It was designed by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. When you drink alcohol, it gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to drink this probiotic before drinking alcohol, drink responsibly, and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. Me and my dad just went on a father-son vacation, drank one of these, hit a punching bag, might have broke my hand, but hey, he's the one who was sleeping until 9 while I got up and went on a 3-mile run. So who's the real dummy? Not me. What I know is that it works, and they plan on coming out with all sorts of products that have nothing to do with alcohol. So if you want to stay in the loop, go to zbiotics.com/WillyMac or scan the QR code right now if you want 15% off when using code WillyMac at checkout. And it's backed with a 100% money-back guarantee if you're unsatisfied for any reason. That's how confident they are in their product. Thank you, Z-Biotics, for sponsoring this video.
Kiss my ass, kiss my ass, kiss my ass.
Predator ring allegations is something that has spiraled out of control for MrBeast. Nobody knows what's true and what's not. Here is the full story. It all broke with MrBeast's friend, former roommate Kris Tyson, buying Lolly from Shadman and hanging on the wall of their room. Lolly is sexualized drawings of minors. Kris was known to have had this for years, but criticism really didn't come until the public went after Dr. Disrespect. This was seen as exceptionally bad because this Lolly was drawn by Shadman, someone who drew real-life depictions of minors. Someone asked, "Can you draw Keemstar's daughter giving head to Trump?" And Shadman replies, "I'll do it if Trump wins." This took place in 2016 and Shad followed through on that promise. Shadman would depict the actress in the Logan movie getting raped. Old social media messages from Kris would then surface. Why would you use your headset for anything other than VR Lolly gang rape porn? This is coming from a guy who owns a Shadman drawing as the centerpiece of his living room. Kris would tweet out the Lolly, bonus fidget spinners to really throw in some extra autism. Kris adamantly supporting and buying Lolly from a guy drawing real life depictions of minors is insane. A major red flag at the least, but it gets worse. Kris was messaging an alleged minor kiss emojis, calling them dad. This led to Kris deleting their entire Snapchat. Kris set up a hentai bot and was tagging minors. Here's Kris posting porn. Kris was 21 years old here, by the way. There is no defending this. Nah, it doesn't do gay for some reason, but literally everything is allowed there, so go for it. At Kris, "I want your penis." Kris replies, "You can have it right now." Nice shot, Pickle. He's behind you. Ah ha ha ha, so there was barbecue sauce on my titties? Hump me. Me. Daddy better make me come. Even the most favorable interpretation of this all just being edgy jokes, it's still extremely inappropriate. Kris is posting porn to minors. Now at some point this Discord would be scrubbed and it would become the official MrBeast server with Jimmy in it. It would still be weird. Kris says, "MrBeast joins in to comment on my penis size. I love it." Here's Kris linking to Shadman's Lolly website. Here's the real MrBeast joining the conversation about Chris's penis size, while minors are all over the Discord. Here Kris posts a picture that seems to be Danielle Bergoli, saying she's only 14? Damn. What did you think she was? 16 is legal in some states. If she's 14, I'm 14. This was seemingly confirmed by clicking the attachment and it linking to Danielle Bergoli's Wikipedia. I want to be clear, this was MrBeast's server. I don't believe for a second he didn't know Kris was talking like this. He needs to give a statement. I don't think firing Kris is enough. Kris would tweet, "I would like to apologize for my past behavior or comments. If it hurt or offended anyone, it was not my intent. Seeing recent events, we mutually decided that it's best that I permanently step away from all things MrBeast. I want to add that I never groomed anyone. To lump these two factors together, that my behavior extended beyond bad edgy jokes, is disgusting, and it did not happen. I learned that my humor is not acceptable. Your old humor was fine if it was with and about adults, but it wasn't." MrBeast would give a statement more so saying he fired her than it was this mutual stepping away. Over the last few days, I've become aware of the serious allegations of Ava Kris Tyson's behavior online, and am disgusted and appalled by such unacceptable acts. But again, you own the server this happened in. You recorded videos from the same room the lolly was hanging in. I don't believe him. Jimmy goes on about how he hired a third party to investigate misconduct in the company and removed Kris from the company completely. This would blow up even more when a former MrBeast employee named Dogpack would say that everybody in the company knew that Kris was a risk to children.
People have internally known at the company that like Kris is kind of a potential minors attracted person, and the company protects her, or they were protecting her, and they protected her as long as they could. Jimmy knew, everyone knew. So it's a mess when like MrBeast contestants are being exposed to like minor attracted persons and the company's protecting them. You know, encouraging like almost children simping for these people.
Dogpack would try to expose that multiple higher-ups at the MrBeast company would be predators, with one being on the registry. This is Jake Weddle, another former MrBeast employee's testimony.
I heard, people have been let go for sexually assaulting some very young people.
The person that Jake Weddle is accusing, by the way, goes by Delaware.
Well, there was a known sex offender, registered sex offender, convicted sex offender, on the registry and everything, who worked there.
1 to 11 years old. I'm gonna blur some of the information because he was 16 when he committed the crime. This was known by Kris Tyson, who posted this information, which makes people like me certain that Jimmy knew. If you were making a company that targets children, why are you hiring an offender that went after a prepubescent child? It would later be confirmed that Jimmy knew by Delaware's brother-in-law, Jake the Viking. Here's the truth. Yes, Delaware is my brother-in-law. He is a registered sex offender. When he was 21, a 16-year-old girl accused him and others of SA when she was 11. Delaware took the plea deal. That's why there was no jail time, but he still had to register. Before being hired, Delaware sat down with Jimmy and Sue, Jimmy's mom, and explained to them everything. So yes, Jimmy knew. But again, this incident happened in 2010. Delaware was hired in 2017/18. He was reluctant to be in the video because of the charges. That's why he wore a mask. Now, I understand that Delaware was a minor when he committed the crime, and if he wanted to work in retail or construction, I'd be cool with it. Not on the MrBeast brand that centers around selling chocolate to children. He allegedly met up with an underage fan at his house. The formal onboarding document was leaked by former MrBeast employees, and in it, Jimmy admits,
"I'd say the average MrBeast viewer is a teenage memer that likes video games."
If your audience is primarily minors, you can't have someone that feels like they need to wear a mask to hide from their criminal past of assaulting a prepubescent minor. Crazy that even needs to be said.
He'll be in videos. He'll be in thumbnails. He'll be around. And whenever he is, he's wearing a mask. Why would you wear a mask? Why would you conceal your face? It's like, what are you concealing? That you are a registered sex offender? How much more can you literally cover up a sex offender with a physical mask? Like, do I have to... Is it more on the nose?
MrBeast looking past Kris and giving him way too much of the benefit of the doubt, I sort of have sympathy for. They were roommates, good friends, and in his onboarding document, he even says, Kris was the first subscriber, someone Jimmy found funny as they're homies. With Delaware, I don't get it at all. Now, Delaware hasn't worked at MrBeast in years, but it's still worthy criticism. We still need an explanation. How do you know this guy's history? And go, yeah, he's a complete liability. Just make him wear a mask. Are you insane? But this is where the allegations start to go sideways. All journalistic ethics go out the window. Most of the criticism of MrBeast comes from Dogpack404, who leverages his time working at MrBeast to give himself credibility. If he works for MrBeast, he must know these claims are true, but just can't speak up because of NDAs. The allegations has to do with James Warren.
So quick profile on James Warren. He's Jimmy's cousin and secret CEO. And I say secret because, they're not very open about that fact.
This secret CEO has allegations ranging from yelling in the office to domestic abuse, animal abuse, fraud.
From what I've heard of James Warren's character, how he's hit ex-girlfriends, not let them leave the house, beat his dog, defrauded people in his own ways. I heard that he's very aggressive. I've heard him referred to as a psychopath who screams at people and hits his girlfriends. There's allegedly domestic violence charges that were filed against him. And I say allegedly because It turns out there's a lot of people in North Carolina named James Warren who assault their girlfriends, I guess. So I'm still having people look into these cases.
I'm sorry, but what? He's got an anonymous text message saying James Warren is a psychopath abuser and found a court case with a guy named James Warren, but he's not sure if it's even the same guy.
It turns out there's a lot of people in North Carolina named James Warren.
Well, then maybe you should figure that out before posting it online. He says he's been using a YouTuber named Surprise Witness to verify these claims.
I'm still having people look into these cases, specifically that Surprise Witness on YouTube. She's been super helpful in like behind the scenes, just submitting freedom of information requests and just helping me out a lot in general. She's super nice, super smart.
But even she says it's not the same guy.
I did look into this and I went into it thinking he had done that. Okay. I went into it thinking he did it and I'm just going to have to find the paperwork. But suffice it to say that I do not think that the case number that is associated with this picture right here, and I told Dawson this, and that's why he said this in the video. I do not think that this particular case is the same James Warren for many reasons.
So she told Dogpack that this wasn't the same James Warren, and he still put it in the video. Why? Well, because he got an anonymous text message. That's the level of research that goes into his videos. When asked why he would go forward with unverified allegations, he said that it would take 2 weeks to verify them, and that was just too long, I guess. Just too long to wait for these life-ruining allegations.
We found the exact James Warren, and I had people run a background check on him. It's just that there's 6 court cases, which could be traffic violations, could be DV related, but it doesn't say on the public registry what it is. So you have to submit a freedom of information request, which then takes like 2 weeks. So that's the real reason.
Oompaville isn't the least bit critical.
I just showed like more corroborating testimony. I mean, it is testimony. I feel like the disclaimers were pretty clear and like they were genuine, like it is allegedly.
Also, when you can, look at the James Warren domestic violence case against his ex-girlfriend. He apparently abused her for months before she filed charges. This person is alleging that there was a domestic violence case against James Warren. It's now up to you to verify those claims. He doesn't. Bro, you haven't even found the charges. Dogpack again confirms that he didn't want to wait for the freedom of information request. He just goes forward with it.
You have to submit a freedom of information request, which then takes like 2 weeks. So that's the real reason.
So Dogpack couldn't wait 2 weeks before blasting this guy with allegations. But remember, he's an anonymous employee. He probably knows something that we don't. Well, he worked there like a month, so no, not at all. Dogpack would later go on Twitter admitting he was wrong about the whole thing. Who could have seen that coming? If only you waited a little bit longer. I still have some freedom of information requests out, but an alleged current MrBeast employee reached out to give me their side of the story. So you still haven't confirmed if they work there? That's alleged too? Everything with this guy is alleged. Oh, I heard this from someone.
I heard he got in trouble. I heard. That's what I heard too.
He continues, I think this person is mistaken with a lot of details, but I now believe the James Warren domestic violence case that circulated in the office was most likely the wrong James Warren. Of course, none of my sources knew that, and Dogpack is not clear about how many anonymous sources there are or where we're getting the information from. Is it these same people? In the text messages, the employee says, oops, sorry, alleged employee. People know about this, but as far as I know, it's not true. One day we did a Google search in the office to check, but nothing. The originator of the rumors was Jimmy's ex-girlfriend, Maddie Spitell. She's a wine drunk and always wanted to gossip on set. She told me a lot, but everyone has to be nice to her because she was dating Jimmy. If you can't tell by now, MrBeast is filled with gossip rumors and toxic crap. The employee continues by saying Dogpack's anonymous source was there when we Googled James Warren's case, but that domestic case was another James Warren. Jokes were made, but it wasn't him. Dogpack excuses this easily avoidable mistake by saying, I tried multiple times to get in touch with the person who allegedly found the charges before making my video, and I did not get a response. I should have waited for my freedom of information request. However, I was clear in my video that they were just allegations of charges. No, you actually made very clear that they need to fire James Warren right now.
Fire James Warren and Locoya Hill. Fire them. Don't just move them around. Or I'm going to start dropping nukes.
Just because you say the word alleged before making life-ruining accusations doesn't mean it's an okay thing to do. It just prevents you from getting sued for defamation. He continues to justify what he did by saying, I'm not a professional journalist or investigator. My goal is to bring credible allegations to light. You don't have to be a professional journalist to know that this was reckless. This would be completely unacceptable for any commentary channel to do. So what does Dogpack do with his nearly 3 million view video calling a guy a dog beating, domestic partner abusing fraud? He keeps it up. The pinned comment states, I'm very confident everything in this video will age well. Only then, if you click read more, he gives the update that he's most likely wrong about James Warren. This was Dogpack's biggest mistake, but there's other things that come off as incredibly sloppy. Dogpack finds out that James Warren was a partner for a company that was committing fraud.
James Warren is the former COO of acquisitions of a real estate investment firm, which is one of the businesses listed in this indictment of his former business partner, Joshua Hutchins, who was sentenced to 10 years in prison. In fact, he's actually mentioned in the court transcripts of this case. She testifies, "I came to know Mr. Hutchins through a very reputable and successful real estate attorney who highly recommended Mr. Hutchins and who eventually left his agency to become the chief operating officer of Mr. Hutchins' investment firm,"
which was James Warren.
And she testifies, "My trust was and has been severely violated. This is the equivalent of financial rape. Many of us entrusted Mr. Hutchins, who we've come to know to be fraudulent."
Now, this indictment is against Mr. Hutchins, not James Warren, because there isn't enough evidence that James knew. Yet Dogpack still incriminates him, even though the courts don't.
"And I told him I could not take the risk. He and James Warren, the then realtor, stated, 'Oh, real estate.'" She goes on to describe how they presented it as a safe investment opportunity for her, and then James Warren's business partner defrauded her of $1.3 million. Now, can I claim definitively that James Warren was aware of the fraud that was taking place and willingly complicit in helping Mr. Hutchins defraud old ladies? No, but from what I've heard of James Warren's character, how he's hit ex-girlfriends, not let them leave the house, beat his dog.
None of that is confirmed in any way.
I personally believe that when he was working with Mr. Hutchins, he was in similar company. I think the COO of acquisitions would know and be sort of responsible for properties not being properly acquired through the court system.
But why didn't the prosecution go after him too? Bro, you have to think. Do you think the prosecution was just being nice to James? This guy sees an accusation that can be made and he just makes it. Another great example is Locoya Hill.
In late 2021, he was allegedly fired for sexually assaulting his assistant. Now, I put fired in quotation marks because he was actually quietly moved to the dubbing company, which was Unilingo at the time.
The evidence that Locoya got fired for this is more anonymous text messages. Locoya is gay, not that it really matters for this story.
He was actually brought back to MrBeast in 2023 after sexually assaulting his assistant prior, and promoted to Chief Financial Officer, which is how I personally was introduced to him. Testimony from former MrBeast employees talking about Locoya Hill.
The testimony. I heard Locoya acted inappropriately with Redacted, booking hotel rooms with one bed, walking around in his underwear, showing off sex toys. They say he was fired for this and moved to the dubbing company. Employee 2 corroborates that Locoya sexually harassed someone, was moved to another company and brought back. Employee number 3 agrees. This allegation has 3 different employees all corroborating the same story, meaning that there's probably some legitimacy to it. But then you get to employee number 4. Locoya sexually assaulted multiple people, apparently roofied multiple people as well. So this went from sexual harassment to a full-on rape accusation. If nobody else is claiming that he roofied people, your only source isn't even confident, then you probably shouldn't go forward with it until you get more confirmation. Dogpack would admit in a recent interview that he had a statement saying the relationship with Locoya and his assistant was consensual, and that the internal report agreed with it. Other employees confirmed the internal report happened.
Started messaging me about the Locoya stuff, saying that it was consensual. And what I found out from other people is that when they did the internal investigation at MrBeast, they determined it was consensual.
So this guy could be platforming 2 false allegations because he's not properly venting. Dogpack going about it this way diminishes and draws speculation of what should be insane news. The MrBeast company moved and hired back a sexual harasser. Dogpack would try and justify his unsubstantiated rape claims to Nicholas Dioria by posting unsubstantiated pedo claims, saying, "If the only claims was roofies, I would have not included it." He then links a screenshot of an anonymous source claiming they have paid money to keep kids he abused silent. Most were underage. Isn't that how all kids work? They have to be underage? I don't even get it. Nick asks, "Now he raped kids? LMAO." Dogpack replies, "I downplayed the whole Locoya thing in my video, if anything. I make it seem like there's only one victim." Nick has to spell it out for him. Dude, that's a completely new allegation. And Dogpack admits, "Yeah, I don't believe it, so I didn't post it." So then why are you posting it in Nick's DMs to justify a claim, saying, "I know he has multiple victims, I don't know about rape"? Then why is it in your video? And just now, Dogpack did an interview where he claims that he talked to the victim and that they're trying to get hush money.
I've spoken to the victim, but the victim was trying to get hush money, and which I supported fully. MrBeast, I guess, wanted was for him to say it was consensual, and I have a recorded phone call with him where he's talking about that. I mean, you'd have to like distort his voice and everything to use that.
So, you were right. They are gonna come to that. They're gonna reach out to me and say they want me to say that it was consensual.
The victim's friend has now come forward and corroborates that they were drugged and raped.
The interaction with Locoya was non-consensual. It's hard to consent when the person was being drugged without their knowledge.
So then why wasn't this information in Dogpack's original claims? Well, because he didn't have the information yet. He admits he just got lucky.
I posted that video with the roofie allegation. I was like, I'm not so sure. I went on Oopaville's channel and I was like, I wasn't sure about that one. And then people had reached out to me, and it was actually consistent with certain victims' stories, I guess, from people close to the victim.
So he's slinging everything he gets at the wall and hoping it leads to more information. It's reckless because this is the internet. These names will be tainted forever whether they're proven innocent or guilty. But it is kind of working. I just think you probably could have gotten this testimony without overstepping your knowledge and going forward with allegations that weren't backed by anyone else. I'm gonna let Nick remind everybody just how little tangible evidence Dogpack had.
You know what's really fucked about this? Is so much of this stuff is based off of office testimony. And now this guy has to confront the harsh reality that the water break conversations at MrBeast aren't always accurate information, even if a lot of sources are coming to tell you the same thing. The way he talks about Locoya Hill is the same way he talked about James Warren. Well, a ton of employees corroborated the fact that James Warren was charged.
There's allegedly domestic violence charges that were filed against him.
Ooh.
It's bad because if you remember, James Warren was never actually charged. In a leaked email at MrBeast written by Jimmy, leaked, it was done on purpose. On August 7th, due to the Kris Tyson drama, MrBeast hired a law firm to do an investigation on company culture and allegations of inappropriate behavior. This led to several people being replaced, including Locoya, who was their COO. So it seems like there was some truth behind these allegations. Dogpack's biggest bombshell is that Locoya may still be working for MrBeast. They just moved him to the dubbing department.
So they did what I wanted and let him go, right? Well, just on a whim, I decided to look into the Creator Global LinkedIn, and it had gone private. I reached out to one of my connections close to MrBeast and I said, hey, can you look into this account for me? And this is what they saw. Locoya Hill, listed as the current president at Creator Global.
This absolutely needs an explanation from Jimmy. So when it comes to the MrBeast Predator ring, these are the verdicts. Kris Tyson, who made inappropriate jokes and comments with minors, who posted and lolly to minors, actively supported a guy who drew lolly of real minors, and actively hung lolly art on his wall, which Jimmy knew about for years. The evidence is the messages, the mods, and the videos. Totally guilty. We have Deleware, who essayed a 1 to 11-year-old when they were 16. He was convicted for this, and MrBeast knew but didn't care. The evidence is from 2 nameable high-profile MrBeast employees, and a public record. Totally guilty. And then we have Locoya Hill, who probably didn't touch kids, but does have first-hand allegations of drugging and rape from the victim. And according to several anonymous employees, he at the least sexually harassed his assistant and was moved around the company, but never officially fired. The victim also claims that hush money is on the table.
They are going to come to that. They're going to reach out to me and say they want me to say that it was consensual.
He still right now might be working for a MrBeast owned company. The evidence is Dogpack's anonymous employees and LinkedIn. These are somewhat credible, but are still very much allegations and could still be proven wrong with a response from Jimmy. We'll have to wait and see, but something definitely seems shady. Then there's James Warren, who's been accused of domestic abuse, beating his dog, and fraud, but none of these accusations are coming from primary sources. They're all coming from Dogpack's anonymous sources who have heard of things. In fact, the company rumor of him having domestic charges, when fact-checked, wasn't even the same James Warren. There is also no evidence that James Warren knew of the fraud his former business partner committed. He was not charged. These allegations hurt Dogpack's credibility and should not have been made. Now, these 3 alone are really bad and absolutely shows a pattern of behavior with Jimmy. Jimmy is looking the other way and protecting his friends while knowing these people are a liability to his audience and the company. It's so much worse than I ever thought it would be. But Dogpack is 1 for 2, maybe 3 with his allegations, and has done nothing to fix his 3 million view video. You leaving this up and hiding behind, well, I said allegedly, so who cares? It discredits your own anonymous sources as well as actual credible allegations that they've made. Since they're anonymous, they're relying on your credibility to get their story out. Don't let them down.
Oh my god, Dogpack lost all credibility. This allegation was fully debunked. And it's like, well, what's your source for it being debunked? Is it my tweet?
He's so cocky here, but meanwhile he's panicking in DMs.
Although public perception has justifiably turned on me, that video accomplished a lot as far as getting more people to come out. I refer everyone to the documentary crew now, since my credibility has obviously tanked, and I will continue to do so when MrBeast responds.
Bro, just fix the video, edit it, and make a retraction. It's so easy.
Oh my god, Dogpack lost all credibility. This allegation was fully debunked. And it's
what did Dogpack think about this? Oh wait, I lost all my credibilities. Oh Jesus.
MrBeast is currently being sued in a class action lawsuit by 5 contestants from his Amazon show Beast Games. But these are far from the only people that have worked for MrBeast and had issues. There's an entire catalog of people who worked for him, complained online, and got bullied into taking their videos down. Now, some of these people may be lying, but others had valid complaints that I think were ignored. Jake Weddle has claimed mental and physical damage while participating in a MrBeast challenge.
There was a video that came out probably like a year ago, something like that. It got a lot of hot water when it came out. It was the like surviving like $10,000 every day you survive in solitary. People don't know that was the second attempt. The first attempt was on me. They weren't turning the lights off. You know, I asked them, I said, can we like have like nighttime hours? And they said no, because it would f up the time lapse shot. I wasn't sleeping. I could not sleep, and I have insomnia problems now. But they might have started there.
Jake only lasted 11 days, which is not enough time for a proper video, but is also a very long time without proper sleep. In this time, they had him run a marathon for a challenge.
So I look at it run. I don't run, you know, let alone a marathon, let alone that training for it.
You try to say no? Like, did you have a choice, or?
There was so much pressure to just do it, just do the thing, you know. You get up, and if I refuse, it's just. Well, that's the whole video. I guess the budget's, you know, so much money up in flames because Jake said he wouldn't want to do the thing. I'm running until 3 a.m. All right, I got off the treadmill. Oh, the blisters I had on my feet were like, you wouldn't believe, just all over, just these big red. I couldn't walk. My muscles were like just the lactic acid.
So this guy sleep deprived, has the worst blisters of his life, and wants to go home. So the production guilt trips him into staying. His mom even backs up his story.
It was brutal. And you called me from there, and I mean, you did not sound like yourself, and you were talking about how your feet were bloody and blistered and you could barely walk. You were psychologically struggling.
And that's true, but it's also not uncommon for reality TV show producers to lean on contestants to stay in during challenges they don't want to. It makes sense, there's a lot of money on the line. I think Jake is actually providing a good PSA for people who want to do these reality TV show challenges. If you want to leave, you should never feel guilty. It's the fault of the production for not being able to keep you. They do casting calls, make the challenges, and can change the rules whenever they want to make sure they have a usable product. There's a lot that can go wrong when you're doing first-time challenges like this, and if something does, MrBeast needs to face the consequences. But you got a lot of people focusing on the fact that Jake Weddle is a bit of a goober. Yes, he blew the $110,000 MrBeast gave him for lasting the 11 days in the challenge.
And now, I spent all that money on doing stand-up.
Yes, Jake Weddle had a meltdown on Instagram and looked stupid.
Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Go up to a rape victim and tell them it's their fault next.
Okay.
Whoa. Now this guy's comparing his story to someone who got raped?
Yes, Jake is being silly for wanting the full $300,000 even though he lasted only 11 days. I was kind of shocked for they didn't pay me for the full 25 to 30 days. To make things up, Jimmy offered Jake Weddle the extra $190,000 and Jake said no, he only took 50.
Said, hey, I wanted to reach out and say I didn't mean to cause you mental stress with that video and I apologize. Clearly it had an effect on you. You mentioned you like to be paid out the rest of the prize money, the other $190,000. I just couldn't take it. Because it's still a mechanism of the game. It's still like the rest of the prize money, and that's not what it was about.
I mean, that's literally what you were complaining about in the text messages.
But the other consistent point I was making was when you have no money, it's not a choice, is it? I need that money.
Yes, Jake is stupid for acting like he can't say no because he's broke. Jake, you need to stop acting like being a YouTube contestant is a viable career path.
You know, maybe if I'm nice publicly, I'll have a chance to, you know, come back and do another thing for money, whether that's work or a game, you know, whatever. You know, and that's kind of a weird system to have.
It's not meant to be your job.
But does any of that make it okay for MrBeast staff to guilt Jake with the failed production? To hear that he can't sleep and won't turn off the lights? No, at the end of the day, it's Jimmy's fault. He's getting sued by 5 of the contestants for the same sort of thing. Negligent infliction of emotional distress, sexual harassment is also in here, and although it is unclear what this means and doesn't specify if it was staff or other contestants doing the sexual harassment, it's not good. Now will MrBeast lose this lawsuit? I don't know. Lawyers talk as if it depends on if contestants legally count as employees under California jurisdiction.
These people were competing for $5 million. Are they contestants or are they employees?
You can call them whatever you want to, but if they meet the definition of an employee, it doesn't matter what you title them. Our argument is that they are employees under California law.
The
hope, dream, and expectation that you might get a payment is not the same as being an employee. Certainly, I think there's a real legal battle here that the plaintiffs will have to convince a judge that this group who signed on to be part of a show should be considered as employees, not contestants.
If not, MrBeast might not be legally liable, but does it make the conditions on set okay? Of course not. But we don't even know what the claims are. It could be someone drawing a dick on a whiteboard. We'll just have to wait and see how the story develops, but looking at Jimmy's past history with employees, I could see it. He literally paid for contestants' therapy after the Beast games. Quote, "It was that bad." There's also been employees from years ago that have made claims about MrBeast. One employee claims that MrBeast shows up, records his part, and then leaves. It's not even that damning of an accusation.
When you make a YouTube video for your channel, you should, we'll go film your video without you. That's cool, yeah.
MrBeast then goes on Drama Alert, calls the guy a liar, and brags that he paid for stuff. Not really relevant, Jimmy.
Paid for his plane ticket, his Uber, his hotel for a week, his Uber, and his plane ticket, which he made a 25-minute quote-unquote exposing video on me, but doesn't mention that I spent thousands of dollars getting him here, paid him $750 for like 5 days worth of work, which is really good pay. He has all these issues, quote unquote, but he doesn't say any of them to me while he's here. He doesn't talk to me while he's here. He just bundles it all up so he can make this 25-minute video and blow everything out of proportion when he gets home. I have Crohn's disease. Most of you don't know what it is. It was really acting up. So I said, hey, you guys go film the rest of the video. I want to go nap. I got to take it easy. Now he's making an exposed video like, oh, MrBeast doesn't film his own videos. Like, what are you going on about, man?
His employee got ratioed so hard they deleted the video. But then I see Scumbag Dad recount his time working for MrBeast, and it sounds pretty dead on.
I mean, I was supposed to be on a MrBeast collab. We were gonna do the entire skit without him there. Like, spend one day planning and rehearsing and performing the entire skit without him there. And then the next day, he shows up for 10 minutes just like as a body, like saying the words, and then he leaves to do another project. Like, that's really impersonal. The entire thing is sort of morphed around you, and he's probably like checking a couple boxes. But then when it comes time to actually shoot, he shows up just like an actor. He's told what to say. Here we have da-da-da-da-da. And then they're like, all right, Beast, get out of here. You got like 5 more of these to do.
Here's another one. An intern claims he was flown out to MrBeast headquarters. He's got proof of him there. He also has proof that he pitched an obstacle course in the sky.
Mario style. Floating obstacle course. Instead of using floating blocks, which is impossible, we will use floating rack hoisted by 4 cranes. Floating rack hoisted 200 feet in the air, start from one platform to another to advance. Safety harness will be eliminated due to the net underneath the platform.
He has drawings on the whiteboard from his pitch. He says this gets approved and they start budgeting.
So I pitched this idea and they absolutely loved it. The budget was originally $1.7 million. That intro alone cost $1.7 million. They've set a date, they set a location, and now they have a new renewed budget for this video, and everything's great. I'm so happy.
But at the end of the day, they don't hire him and they send him home.
Unfortunately, we have decided not to move forward with your candidacy at this time. We really appreciate you coming out and vibing with us. We would consider you for a role like this in the future, but timing isn't quite right. And the rest are about receipts.
They never hit him back. And 4 months later, what video comes out on MrBeast?
I have built the most deadly obstacle course in the world.
It was a floating Mario course with swinging hammers. It's 200 feet in the air.
200 feet to the ground.
Held up by cranes, and they use a net instead of a harness.
Also, take your harness off. No. If for whatever reason he fails this obstacle course,
he free falls 200 feet into a net.
MrBeast's defense that he gave to Drama Alert wasn't that this guy lied about his pitch, it's that MrBeast had cartoon thumbnails as concepts in 2023, since Fall Guys came out. When you think about it for more than a second, this doesn't make any sense. This guy being flown out, pitching his idea, and it coming together to a T is far more compelling evidence than this cartoon AI artwork. Ty got so much that he had to turn off the comment, even though he's probably right. But then the question is, does Jimmy need to hire someone because he made a good pitch for a video? No, but you should probably compensate him. He slandered him instead.
Shut the fuck up. Nobody even wants you here.
Here's a list of things Jimmy is guilty of, but how much it matters is going to vary person to person. Jimmy did illegal lotteries a lot.
They're illegal lotteries where the only way to win a prize is by making a purchase.
In 10 minutes, right, because we gotta give them time to do their cart, we'll give
2 orders, $500 each. 5 minutes, someone's getting $3 grand in their order. In 5 minutes, we're gonna do the same thing again. We're gonna put $1,000 in a random order.
If you are not the government, you cannot sell something that enters you into a lottery. There has to be some sort of no purchase necessary way to enter. Lawyers have explained this.
If all 3 of these elements are present and the lottery is not regulated, it is likely illegal, because lotteries in the United States are exclusively run by the government.
Now, I don't care about this because most YouTubers don't know it's illegal. This happens on YouTube all the time. Here's Captain Sparkles explaining it.
The way that I found out about illegal lotteries to begin with is because I accidentally did one. I did a charity live stream. And I said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if the people who donate to the charity I'm raising money for could be eligible to win a prize in a giveaway? You can't actually do that. Does this mean that MrBeast conducted illegal lotteries within this live stream? Yes. Seems more like an oversight and not realizing that you're not allowed to do it.
Jimmy stopped doing this years ago, probably because he was informed by his legal team to do so. So how mad you're going to be at him is going to depend if you think he was doing it illegally on purpose or not. I seriously doubt it. What I do get the outrage for is the ridiculous requirements for his no purchase necessary Feastables sweepstakes.
The only place you'll find no purchase necessary is either on the Feastables Twitter account because it's a rule of the platform, and even still they try to push it. No perch neck. And to enter for free, you have to mail in separate 3" by 5" hand-addressed written index cards.
Normally, you either mail 1 letter to a P.O. box or fill out an online survey and give your email, not mail 10 individual index cards. That sounds like a Dr. Doofenshmirtz evil plot. MrBeast is also guilty of faking signatures. It seems like every employee knows how to write Jimmy's.
So here's a clip of Tyler forging, or not, maybe not forging, using MrBeast's signature.
And look, it's probably not illegal because it technically falls under the company's signature, but it's still misleading your fans and is wrong. MrBeast also has some rigged aspects to his videos. Most of those can be contested, but there is one that is undeniable to me. Jimmy's friend and now employee Mac has appeared in a lot of MrBeast videos. He usually tries really hard and makes it far in these competitions, but in this one, I'll just show you.
To be honest, there's 100 people here. I'm not gonna win. What's the point? Hey, everybody! This guy just said he wants to get out. Step out. Oh! Even though you got out first, I still have a prize for you. Just wait here. Congratulations, you just won a brand new car for being first out.
Oh, and he stepped out perfectly and shot right where Jimmy is standing. It's so obviously rigged.
Close your fucking mouth, you're just really fucking dense. If you hate me while you talking, you don't make no fucking sense.
People are pissed at MrBeast because he's done a lot wrong. Some of it is sneaky, some of it is illegal, and some of it is downright evil.
I've spoken to the victim, but the victim was trying to get hush money.
So, you were right. They are gonna come to that.
And it's led to people getting mad at Jimmy for stuff that either isn't true, is taken out of context, or is an industry standard. Dogpack claims that MrBeast is breaking broadcast standards and practices laws because he is influencing the game show to make it more dramatic and competitive, like paying the Rubik's Cube guy to quit for the boys team.
And what's even worse is that the results of this video were completely scripted. According to a former MrBeast employee, it would have been a PR problem if the boys had won by a lot. And because so many of the female contestants were MrBeast employees who got out immediately, production stepped in to actually make the results of the challenge closer. You can actually see some of this happen on camera, like when Jimmy pays one of the boys $10,000 to leave, which is twice as much as the actual prize money, but doesn't make the same offer to the girls.
The boys were blowing you out of the water. I paid the one guy who knew how to solve them to leave. Now if you don't win, that was all for nothing.
In traditional media, this kind of rigging is actually completely illegal.
And then we have a standards and practices person, and if you don't know what that is, on any kind of a game show where there is a prize, you have to have somebody that ensures that it's fair. They are out there essentially to make sure that we don't do something that would favor one player or one tribe.
What MrBeast is doing is completely legal because you can make whatever game show you want. Tons of game shows do this, but I'll let a lawyer explain.
Dogpack alleges that MrBeast rigged the game so that the boys didn't win by so much. At one point, he says he wanted to make the game more competitive by trying to introduce more boys to drop out. And in one sense, you know, duh, this is a MrBeast video. He makes various offers and changes the rules to make things more entertaining. He manipulates the events to add drama, much like any game show where things occur to make things interesting. But here, let's make a distinction. There are the rules as laid out to the contestants before they participate, and the rules as laid out in the video. Now, you can imagine that the contract between the contestant and, I don't know, Beast Enterprises lays out certain terms for the relationship. Now, I've never seen one of those contracts. My guess is that it gives Beast Enterprises quite a lot of flexibility to deal with the contestant. And then there are the terms that show up in the final video after the filming. those might not be the same. Now, whether you're allowed to change the rules in the video largely depends on how much freedom you have in the rules in your contract with the contestant. The reason for this is the First Amendment. You're generally allowed to produce whatever kind of TV show you want, or YouTube video that you want. It was thought, and still is, that when it came to shows that were broadcast over the air before cable TV or largely the internet, because that was a limited resource, the argument went, the government had more say over what could be broadcast.
MrBeast isn't even trying to be sneaky about it.
Boys are blowing you out of the water. I paid the one guy who knew how to solve them to leave.
It's a stupid criticism where you have to be a child to care. Dogpack also alleges that Jimmy doesn't have random subscribers feature in his videos.
Promising big rewards in return. Now it's your turn to do what MrBeast tells you and you will win big rewards. But you actually won't unless you're famous or friends or family of a MrBeast employee. Seriously, we always fly subscribers down. They never fly random subscribers down. When they do pull someone from outside of North Carolina, it's usually somebody who's in the industry, who's camera trained, who has built a following.
All it took was one person to read the name tags of the contestants and then reach out to them. Here's people that live in Ohio, Missouri, Illinois, California, Colorado. The one that responded says he was flown out, and none of them have a big following. So if Dogpack had no real evidence to back this up, why did he make the claim at all? Well, it's because he recognized some of the employees in the videos.
I mean, it's not like he's ever rigged the results of a challenge. That would be impossible because he films with hundreds of random subscribers, right? Wrong. Let's look at this video. Not only were the results of this video completely scripted, but the contestants are not random subscribers.
So many people had jobs.
Oh, that contestant had to get out for her job? I guess you forgot she's your hiring manager. I actually recognize a lot of people in this video, including Jimmy's own girlfriend.
So that means none of them can be random.
So yeah, the random subscribers you see in challenges are actually never random. They're almost always local to MrBeast and oftentimes friends and family of MrBeast employees or just the employees themselves.
It's such an obvious logical fallacy. Bro, you really couldn't think of one other reason why employees might be in the video? It's been explained on podcasts before.
If I'm not mistaken, you were in 100 Girls vs 100 Boys for $500,000.
Yes, that was an accident. I'd never ask him to be on a video. If I accidentally win, it might look like it was planned. On the day, everybody had to go for COVID tests. A lot of people came and they tested positive. And the girls somehow ended up with way too little contestants. So I got a call randomly from the studio and they're like, we need a female. I'm like, I am a female.
A MrBeast employee named Chucky explained that Dogpack also implies the video was faked because we have some employees in the video that were there to fill in for people who tested positive for COVID. There is nothing illegal about this. This happens in all sorts of productions. Otherwise, they would lose millions of dollars just because a few people don't show up.
There's absolutely nothing illegal about using friends or acquaintances in your videos. And it doesn't necessarily follow that just because MrBeast might have known some of the people who appeared in his videos that he rigged the videos in their favor. Now, your mileage may vary as to whether it's a good or bad look to include friends in videos where there's money on the line. Now, arguably, you might conclude that if the video makes it appear that every contestant is random, and it turns out that that's not the case, then it makes it more likely that the outcome is rigged in their favor. MrBeast, after all, might want to patronize his friends. But you might also conclude that there is no connection between the identity of the contestants and the outcome. Now, I haven't reviewed every single MrBeast video. I have a life. Personally, I think this is probably closer to the truth, but I can see how people might feel deceived. And as it happens, I happen to know several people who have appeared in MrBeast videos. Again, because he needed someone to fill in at the last second and they happened to be nearby. It was definitely not rigged or predetermined. Now, I can't speak to all MrBeast videos, but in at least one instance where he knew the contestants, the video was certainly not rigged.
There's so many random no-name people that have competed in MrBeast challenges that have no following. And let's face it, if contestants were routinely abused during production, or if all the videos were scripted, there would be hundreds of testimonies, not just the handful we have now. MrBeast can't stop his own employees from constantly leaking stuff. How can he stop random contestants? The complaints from Dogpack are so nitpicky sometimes. Oh, he used CGI in a video. That means the video is fake.
You ever faked a video?
No. But this train track is CGI.
The tip of the train track is CGI because he thought it looked better when it rolled into the pit.
These bus wheels are CGI. This explosion is fake. This shredder is CGI.
Of course it's fake. It's not passed off as real.
This island costs more than $1.
Yes, it cost them $1 and then $27 in taxes and fees. Dude, MrBeast is such a liar!
This raccoon is a paid actor.
Yo, that raccoon is a paid actor. If you watch the video, it is clearly a domesticated raccoon. It's used as a bit where the raccoon shows up and they all freak out. How much you care is up to you. You know, I really didn't care about all the pedos, but this raccoon, too far.
Got a sad life, go to fucking hell. Are you stupid or disabled, man? I can't fucking tell.
This last section is just a few of the many allegations that I think make zero sense. Dogpack tries to blame a rocket ship blowing up on Jimmy.
MrBeast did a live stream where for only $10, viewers could send a picture to the moon. 3 years later, the spaceship finally launched, carrying beautiful pictures of deceased loved ones to the moon where they would be immortalized. It fucking exploded.
How would he know that? He acts like this was a scam.
So obviously MrBeast refunded everyone, right? Right? Is it MrBeast's fault that the rocket exploded? No. Is it his fault that he advertised it as for $10 I will put your photo on the moon when he couldn't guarantee that? Yes.
NASA couldn't guarantee the Challenger from exploding. How could MrBeast? The shuttle exploding is an obvious risk when paying for this. He goes on to blame MrBeast for obesity around the world and calls MrBeast a hypocrite for caring about people's health because he sells chocolate, and that's unhealthy.
Like, MrBeast is bringing hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of new people to the candy aisle, whether he wants to admit it or not.
People are just walking to the chocolate aisle, and instead of buying Hershey's, buying Feastables. Like, people who never would have bought chocolate in Walmart are walking to the chocolate aisle specifically to buy Feastables.
You're creating a new market.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm bringing new customers to the aisle.
That's an incredible business achievement.
But I know that poor diet and especially excessive sugar consumption is the #1 cause of death and health problems in America, including some of the health problems that MrBeast claims to care so much about. Blindness, deafness, loss of limbs.
Wow, Jimmy's killing people. Jimmy doesn't want people to be blind, so he should stop selling his chocolate bar. Real sound logic. These people were mostly blind from cataracts, not a sugar overdose.
They can't see, but we have all the technology to fix it.
Yep, half of all the blindness in the world is people who need a 10-minute surgery.
It's worse than COVID. Hospitals are overrun with MrBeast customers losing limbs.
MrBeast also just launched a combo with Zaxby's, which if you get a soda, it's over 2,000 calories for one meal.
We are just about to witness San Kaboy, a 59-year-old woman, receive prosthetic legs and walk for the very first time.
This make me cry because this special for her. Thank you.
Wow, what a hypocrite. Did I miss the part where he said to eat this every day? 6 Feastables a day? Adults, children, we all enjoy unhealthy foods. It's all about eating it in moderation. Let's stop being Karens about a fast food collab. MrBeast launched a Lunchable knockoff that is slightly healthier than a normal Lunchable. It has Prime instead of a Capri Sun. And people lost their minds. Dogpack posts, Lunchly is part of a genius YouTube strategy. Here's how. Unhealthy, lethargic kids provide a higher audience retention rate than healthy, active kids. By creating food products that debilitate his audience, MrBeast is able to increase the average view duration. This is a key metric to getting promoted by the YouTube algorithm. So MrBeast doesn't just optimize his content for the YouTube algorithm, he optimizes his audience as well. Now, Dogpack would get heat for this delusional take, and he backtracked saying it was just a joke. But we just watched a whole section of his video where he said MrBeast was killing people, making them lose limbs and die.
Excessive sugar consumption is the #1 cause of death and health problems in America.
He's retweeting people who are calling it poisonous to kids. This is what I ate for lunch, and the microplastics in it made me stronger. I don't get why MrBeast is expected to fix the school lunch system. These are unreasonable expectations for a YouTuber. Your product is processed garbage with no nutritional value. Of course it is. It's a knockoff Lunchables. He never claimed otherwise. What, is he supposed to be selling salads? If you don't like it, just don't buy it for you or your kid.
You should really poo pee pee penis and vagina. Women with dicks and weak men with vagina.
Dogpack is going to falsely accuse somebody and make the real allegations seem less credible. I'd argue he's already done that.
The allegations that I thought was less credible was that Locoya Hill roofied people. I was like, I was very borderline even putting that in.
But you did it anyway.
But since I published that, it's been more corroborated.
You should corroborate that before you put it in. MrBeast is going to respond, but only when Dogpack finishes putting out the allegations. The thing is, he won't do it. He keeps teasing it. He wants to save it for later.
Video, you kind of called it a 2.5. So there is going to be an official third, perhaps after Jimmy decides to make a statement.
Yeah, man, just fire James Warren and Locoya Hill. Fire them, don't just move them around. Or I'm going to start dropping nukes. And I have a lot of other interviews and other allegations that I'm working on putting together, so I have something for when MrBeast responds.
It doesn't make any sense to me. The allegations should be able to stand on their own. How can MrBeast give an accurate response if you don't accurately put the allegations out there? It's freaking stupid. There's a lot more criticism that could go around, but that'll have to be for another time. Subscribe to the channel and be sure to check out Z-Biotics. Shout out to the homies over on Patreon: Phoebes, Crimson Glass, Riveter, Christina Vina, Mac Monkey, Drink Kobex, Necro Valley, Stefan Bildman, Abby Blackbird, The Confusing Opinion, Eddie Bizzle, Tiz McFitz, Christopher H, TV Anthology Reviews, Kanklemore, Sennial Music, Lucas If, ET Automatic, Snoopy Poop Tube 2, Amir ML Bay, Deep Pocket Jew, Rooney Boo, Drew is sharing, and the mega homies: Reynolds Hughes, Hellison, IGP, Your Taxi, Latchkey Gothboy, Cyber Katie, Lure Reloaded, Papa Gut, Caden Lulin, BA Subway, Hawk and Load, Derek Dew, Kitty Cat, Parax, Fayander, John Manfreda, Trick, Lucas, Doggerino Cripperino, Katie Huck, Leviathan, and Panic Pun.